I want to start by saying that event caught me napping. So first, I want to give all glory, honor, and adoration to Almighty God, who has given us this day, who sustained me through 35 years of service without blemish. Because I know it's not because I'm perfect, but I enjoy the grace of God. So it has been the grace of God upon my life that has taken me this far. We may ascribe it to competence, capacity, and whatever, but if it is not God's doing, it will never happen. So I give God all the glory, honor, and adoration. I also want to thank the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who made the appointment when I was appointed. I want to thank the Controller General of Nigeria Customs Service, Mr. Bashir Adewale Adeniyi, MFR, DSM, FIN APR, for considering me worthy of being recommended to the highest authority. I appreciate him and I pray that God will continue to guide him, illuminate his path, and make him excel at the discharge of his responsibility. I want to thank my colleagues, members of the management who are here present, for creating time. About a month ago, gathered a lot of people during my daughter's wedding.
Of which is, she asked a rhetorical question actually. What will people say at a time like this when you are living your career? That's a very important message and should be a take home for a lot of the VVIP.
E-S-U-S, Jesus.
I feel great being celebrated because, like the organizers of this event, they only organized and gave me a very short notice. And why it gladdens my heart is not because they are doing this, but because I felt I must have touched their lives positively for them to feel that there is a need for them to organize this. So I'm happy with myself that it means while in the service I must have done so many things right for them to have that impression. So it makes me happy that at least it's not that I was leaving, people were throwing stones at me, people were throwing water at me. So I now look back, I thank God for giving me the wisdom to navigate the service during my stay there. So I'm very happy, I'm really very happy.
Okay, DCG Festus Okun is a very amiable fellow and a strict disciplinarian. When I met him for the first time was at Lillipon when I was PRO Papa, and thereafter our path crossed again at Tinkan Island Port, where he was the DC in charge of Deputy Controller in charge of Revenue, and I was Deputy Controller in charge of Enforcement. He used to tease me as the IG, Inspector General, being the DC Enforcement, and I used to tease him as the Minister of Finance, being the DC Revenue. We both served our master diligently and laid the foundation for the new customs in Tinkan Port. But one thing I discovered about him is that he looks very simple. But when it comes to matters of discipline and integrity, he's a different person. So for those who never knew him, you will go with that expectation that his ambience is that of a very jovial person who will take anything for what it is, but you'll be disappointed once it comes to matters of compliance in custom issues, when it comes to matters of discipline. And therefore, I added what I learned from him to whatever I'm doing. I am glad to come back to Tinkan as the area controller, And I must confess that part of the reform we are doing, getting in customs today in Tinkan, and the successes we are recording are all anchored on the partnership we shared and the experiences we shared. I'm leveraging on them. Today, he's being celebrated in retirement. I wish him the best, and all of us to look forward to serving meritoriously as he did and retiring gloriously in good health, most importantly, because you can see how healthy he looks. You can see he's still full of life. And I want to believe that this will be the last of him in customs. Incidentally, nobody retires ideally in customs because you still have your service number. So he's still a custom officer in all ramifications, except that he won't be wearing uniform. So he will be available for us to consult him anytime.
Ordinary person. I say this because of the kind of experience I shared with him, I've had with him while I was National Public Relations Officer for the Nigerian Customs Service. And the way, even though he was out there in the field working, the way he always reached out to me where issues of national importance were concerned. He had this passion, he has this passion for the service that can only be attributed to someone that has this zeal to serve. He is someone that would not just sit back and say, well, if it doesn't concern me, it's none of my business and I wouldn't want to interfere. He was always willing to share from his wealth of knowledge. He was always willing to encourage us, those of us that were in headquarters at that time, doing the kind of assignments that we're giving, encouraging us to give of our best. He is a leader by excellence, a mentor, as some of them or some officers have mentioned, and one that you can always rely on if you need solid advice on anything relating either to the functions of the service or even in the personal lives of officers. He will be sorely missed. He will be sorely missed. His calm disposition, his honesty, his frankness, quiet. Though he tells you, you know, he speaks from the heart, and he will tell you things that will touch you in a way that if you are doing the right thing, you'll be encouraged to proceed in that direction.
There is no adjective that can aptly describe a principled man, a man full of humility, full of valor, full of intelligence. In fact, the service will miss him greatly.